Good morning. Okay, so sige.
Good morning po.
So, continue lang tayo ngayon sa mga nakuha natin na lalo na yung mga computations because this is a review for the midterms, di ba? So, we'll continue with our discussion dun sa mga computations sa mud or drilling fluids. And then also, if we have some additional discussions for cementing, yun, kunin natin. So, let's go for that. Let me start recording.
Ibu.
I am looking for a good example sa mga math para madaling masundan sana. Okay, this one will do, Uh, I was saying yesterday na it is good to always put the components, no? So sa mud or cementing, whether mud or cementing, you have to put in yung components, no? So in this example, sabi, how many sacks of aqua gel of 2.5 specific gravity are required to prepare 300 barrels of an aqua gel water mud containing 5.5% aqua gel by weight. Assume 1 sack is equal to 1 pound. So, ang solution is that we can always go for the given density at saka yung density ng fluid, and then 1 minus density ng water, and then divided by the aqua gel, density ng aqua gel. So, if we go for substitution, ang makukuha natin is 8.61 ppg. So, dito yan galing, it's always, sabi ko, mass balance is always density over mass over volume. So, mass is equal to volume times density. So, ayan. Since yung aqua gel natin, water mud is the one that we are after. So, yung aqua gel, you can denote it by any subscript. Basta, ilalagay nyo lang lahat ng components doon. But, in this example, ang volume na gusto natin is 300 minus yung aqua gel. So, we can substitute the given, one of the given in terms of aqua gel volume para we can reduce it into only one equation, tapos merong unknown, so one unknown na lang siya, and then if we solve it, we can have the volume which is 6.825 barrels, and then we can compute for the number of sacks by computing the density, and then the water at 42 gallons per barrel, and then we divide it by 100 because the 100 is the given for in this example, the given is 100 pounds per sack, di ba? Yun ang given eh. Determine the amount of water to make up the solution. Isa ito pala. Ito, assume one sack is 100 pounds. So since we are determining the number of sacks, we can compute for 60. Ito madali lang to, no? So basically, laging ito yung representing ng mass balance natin. Whatever, whether i-change yung volume, density, or sabihin na natin ng mass din, if we have to change it, i-represent nyo lang siya as in algebraic lang naman to algebra, no? If you want, sasabihin na we want, halimbawa itong example na to, the density of 900 barrel of 16 ppg must be increased to 17 ppg. So, ibig sabihin, may original na 16, and then i-increase natin. And then the volume fraction of low specific gravity solid must be reduced from 0.055 to 0.030 if we are going to dilute it with water. Ang sabi, final mud volume of 900 barrels is desired. So, dapat yung volume natin will be the 900 volume. So, we have to compute for the initial volume. Yung initial volume is being reduced from 0.055 to 0.030. So, i-ratio and proportion nyo lang yun to get the initial volume of mud. And then, once you have that, ang final volume daw is 900 minus yung initial volume. We have an initial volume of 409 barrels. So, the new volume and volume balance can be given as this. Ito na yun. And then, if we take again the mass balance, without putting in the values first, we can get the volume nito. And then, if we substitute, then we can get straight away na yung volume. And then, ganun din yung mass. And then, 0.02 daw yung i-discard. It's merong error dun sa pag-discard na 0.02. So, ilalagay lang natin yon unnecessary ma-discarded in error is 245.37. And for an error of minus 0.02. So 490 minus B1 is equal to 490.9. And then times 0.01 over 0.035. We just go by this, yung barite density kasi is 35 pounds per gallon. Ayan. We just have to put in the value so that we can get 350.64. Pero bihira na yung error kino-compute. I think what is important in these calculations are the mass balance. Yun talaga ang pinakaano nitong drilling fluids. So, for example, here, 1,000 barrel unweighted freshwater clay has a density ng 9. So, 1,000 times 9. So, and then, i-represent natin what mud treatment would be required to reduce the solids content to 5% by volume. So, the mud density, minimum allowable mud density is 8.5 ppg. So, ang density naman ng isa is 9. So, assuming the weight of clay to be 20.83, dapat given yon weight of clay. And the weight balance is 20.83 times volume yun ang mass ng clay tapos ito ang volume. So, this one is 8.33 kasi yun yung sa water Specific gravity is always equal to the mud weight divided by 8.33. So, pag kinuha natin yon, we can represent the BW as 1,000 minus BC. Kasi dalawa lang naman ang component na to So, yung BC natin, we can get it as 9,464 barrels. And in order to contain 5% by volume of solid content, the volume should be 5% times 1,000 is equal to 50 barrels. Let's take some other example. Halos pareho na yan, whether mag-vary ka sa volume o mass, or it could be density also. So you just have to express it in terms of mass balance. Saan pa? Itong computation na to is about filter loss. So, usually the filter loss is taken using a filter press. So, they can have a direct reading by taking kung gaano kakapal yung cake doon sa parang filter. But that is for calculations lang. Okay. As a review, I think last time na ibigay ko sa inyo yung mga model dun sa fluid mechanics natin at saka hydrology. I mentioned the fact na pag Newtonian fluid, we are always taking it as this straight. Pero yung mga ibang fluid, ganito ang graph. And ito, yung is a Bingham. So, if you notice here, ito rin yung mga model, sinusundan ng mga model na nabanggit ko. The Bingham plastic model, the Power Law model, the Herschel and Buckley model. So, parang review lang to, no? So, I'm just passing through yung mga importante. And then sa Bingham plastic model, these are the computations for taking the plastic viscosity tsaka yield point. So we need yung mga fan reading at 600 RPM tsaka 300 RPM. And with that reading, makukuha natin yung plastic viscosity. And then we can also get the yield point by multiplying the fan reading at 300. So times 2 minus 600, or the fan reading at 600. So yan yung pagkuha. And then when we put in the model, kailangan natin yung mga shear stress tsaka yung shear rate. So there are formulas for each model, as in ito yung sa power law, if you remember. And then yung Herschel and Buckley may sarili din siyang formula. And then yung Bingham is also meron ding formula. So let's take an example na kunwari may mga shear rate tsaka shear stress. So what are given here are the shear rate tsaka shear stress. The shear rate is in terms of 1/2, saka yung shear stress in terms of pound force per 100 square foot. And then what we could do is we could plot all of this, and we should come up with a model that is yung kaninang pinakita kong mga graph. There's one thing more, no, na I think hindi ko masyadong na-discuss in the previous meeting, which is the concept of equivalent mud weight. Yung equivalent mud weight, ito yung pressure sa wellbore, and this is very convenient to compare the pressure at any depth. So the equivalent mud weight is, of course, given by this equation: pressure divided by 0.052 times L. Yung length dito is the TVD always, hindi MD. So if the well is deviated, kukunin natin yung angle from the vertical, and then we have to input that para makuha natin yung length in TVD. And if the measured depth is represented by DH, then that TVD will be the cosine of alpha divided by the DH. So kaya if we want the TVD, then that is equivalent to DH, or the measured depth, times the cosine of alpha. So yun ang equivalent mud weight. Pero tandaan nyo lang, laging ang equivalent mud weight ang dito is TVD, not MD. So with that equivalent mud weight, we can always get the pressure at any depth, provided we know the TVD. So, halimbawa, question, horizontal depth natin, ang MD is 10,000. Pero yung TVD nang gagamitin ninyo, tapos cosine 90, yung TVD pa rin kasi nakahiga na siya. So it is always expressed in TVD. So therefore the equivalent mud weight would be the pressure, whatever the pressure, divided by 0.052 times, sabi ko kanina yata 6,000. Yun ang equivalent mud weight. And ito naman, the concept of equivalent circulating density. This results from the addition of equivalent mud weight due to annulus pressure losses to the original mud weight. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong original mud weight kasi. Pero, because nag-a-add ka ng fluid and as you increase in TVD, magkakaroon ka din ng mga pressure losses sa annulus. So, we are representing it as ECD. ECD, ibig sabihin, this is in terms of density, pero the pressure divided by 0.052 times L. Diba yan yung equivalent mud weight? Pero tinitake into account natin yung original mud weight, which is the raw M. So, tingnan nyo yung formula nito kaysa dito. Halos parehas, hindi ba? Na-convert lang ito into delta P annulus. Whereas sa equivalent mud weight, this is in pressure at that depth divided by 0.052 times LTVD. Ito, the equivalent mud weight is delta P annulus divided by 0.052 TVD plus the original mud weight. So, let's take an example. This is very important lalo na pag nag-drill ng mga surface because ayaw mo na yung equivalent circulating density mo would be too high than the original mud weight. Because if it's too high, ibig sabihin din naloloaded na yung annulus. Medyo punong-puno na yung annulus mo and then you might get stuck. So, the ECD is always monitored, especially doon sa surface hole. Hindi pwede siya na hindi i-monitor. So, the mud loggers, the mud engineers, they would always look at the ECD. Meron naman kasing computation sila in a way na naka-input sa computer. Once they get the equivalent mud weight, then they can have the ECD at the same time. So, let's take the example is problem 5.2. Calculate the ECD for the following data. Let's say ang inclination natin is 30 degrees. Measured depth is equal to 5,000 feet. And then calculated through vertical depth based on minimum curvature method is 4330. Annular pressure loss gradient is equal to 0.03 PSI per foot. Ibig sabihin, ito yung for every feet, it is having a pressure loss na 0.02 PSI. And the mud weight is 9.2 ppg. If we calculate for the total annular pressure loss, since the depth is 5,000, we can get it by multiplying with the pressure loss gradient of 0.03. So, meron tayong 150 PSI. Okay? So, if we have that delta P, 4,500, this is from this expression, ano? $4,330 delta P 0.3 PSI per foot times 4,500. The ECD, so ang original mud weight daw is 9.2. So ang calculated natin na pressure loss is 150 divided by 0.052. Pero we have to multiply the measured depth 5,000 times cosine of 30 degrees. And we get the 4330. And computing for the ECD, we have 9.866 ppg.
Sir, saan nga po ulit galing yung 0.036?
Conversion yun. That's the conversion for PSI per foot. Kasi PSI pounds per square inch, and then we want it to be multiplied with 4,500. Ang annular pressure loss kasi natin is measured depth is 5,000, and then we have to take out the cosine 30 degrees. What is cosine 30 degrees? That is 1/2, di ba? $5,000 and then cosine 30. What is 5,000 and then cosine 30? Equivalent to 4,330, di ba?
Yes po, sir.
And then
Yes po.
and then if we multiply it with 0.036, ilan yun?
155.155.
1558?
155.88 po.
155.88. So may difference siya ng 0.36. I have to check bakit, kasi I found several typo error in this book. Iba yung sa capacity natin. I have to check why they use 4,500 here. It should be 0.03 times 5,000 times cosine 30. So, dapat yung delta T, yung sa ilalim should be that way. I have to check this kung bakit 4,500 ang ginamit nila. Even yung 4,330 kasi ang sabi dito, ginamit nila is minimum curvature method. Pero hindi naman kasi curve yun eh. So, if it is a curve, we can just simply use 5,000 times cosine of 30. Diba? Pero I think they use minimum curvature pa doon, which is a curve expression. And then, kaya medyo naging 4,330. And then the 0.036 is conversion of PSI per foot. And if we multiply that by the 5,000 cosine of 30, we should get that delta P annulus. Kasi ang annulus pressure loss gradient lang naman is 0.03, not 0.036. Pero parang dito, ang ginamit niya is 0.036 times 4,500. So, hindi naman siya conversion para maging he is merely multiplying the pressure loss gradient from what I see versus the measured depth. Pero ang measured depth, if it is measured depth, then hindi dapat yun ng sa annular pressure loss because it is in terms of TVD. So that should be 5,000 cosine 30. Sige. So let's leave it like that. Use 0.03 in this example and then 5,000 cosine 30. And what you get is 155 PSI. Tama? And even here, dapat dito hindi 150 PSI yung total annular pressure loss because that should be corrected in depth already. So that should be 155 divided by 0.052 times 5,000 cosine 30 ulit. Then we can get the ECD. Na ano nyo ba yun? Nakuha nyo yung correction na yun? Ulit. Kasi ang hinahanap natin dito is the pressure loss, di ba? And if we take into account the annular pressure loss in terms of MD, that is 150 psi, but he wants to correct it, I suppose, to the TBD depth, which should be 0.03 times the TBD. So it should be 5,000 times cosine of 30. And then, if we want to get the ECD, ito yon, lalagay natin yung original mud weight plus the delta P in the annulus divided by 0.052 times 5,000 cosine 30. Tama ba yung nakukompute nyo? 9.866?
9.77 po.
Sa tamang delta P annulus.
Opo.
I think that's most likely it's 9.77, not 9.866 kasi hindi tama yung 4.5 eh. Because if he is taking it from the measured depth, then that is not correct because it is 5,000. So it's 0.03 times 5,000. So it should be 5,000 cosine 30 kung ganon. If it is in the annulus, if you are considering the annulus at with a measured depth of 5,000. Na ano nyo ba yun? Nakuha nyo yun?
Opo, sir.
Sige. We'll get another example. I think itong mga delta PB, binigay ko na ito kahapon, di ba? We are assuming na delivery pressure, tapos merong delta P bit pressure drop. Itong delta P bit pressure drop, magkaiba ito if you are using a motor at saka walang motor. Yung motor na sinasabi ko, yun yung positive displacement motor, yung nakita nyo sa SDI at saka Halliburton. Pag meron kasing motor, meron siyang required na bit pressure drop para mag-balance yung bearing ng motor at saka malubricate yung motor. Usually, if it is a sealed bearing na type na mga motor, ang minimum bit pressure drop dyan is 250 psi. So, if you are going to calculate the hydraulic horsepower at the bit, you have to compute Q kung ilan ang ipapump mo. Let's say you are going to pump in our example yesterday, 612 GPM times 250 PSI divided by 1714. What would be our hydraulic horsepower with the given bit pressure drop? Ulit, the Q is 612. Delta P is 250 PSI. What would be our hydraulic horsepower at the bit? With a bit pressure drop of 250 PSI. Ilan? Ilan?
Sir, paulit.
Yung flow rate is 612, yung example natin kahapon. Since we are using a motor, sabi ko, pag motor, ang minimum bit pressure drop karamihan ng mga motor is 250 PSI. So what would be our hydraulic horsepower at the bit, given the Q and the bit pressure drop?
89.3378.
8.89.
89.
Yeah, mataas, ano? So, obviously, with the motor, napakalaki yung yung hydraulic horsepower ang kinakailangan niya. That's why it's strong. Kasi maski hindi ka na maglagay ng weight dun sa motor, babarena na yon because of the RPM. Diba sabi natin, let's say we have a 0.15 revolution per gallon and we are pumping 600. How fast is the bit turning? 0.15 revolution per gallon times 612. Ilan yun?
0.5 lang po, sir.
0.115 revolution per gallon.
91.8.
91. Mataas na rin, ano? So, dagdagan ko pa ng 60, dapat mga 150 RPM na yung bit na umiikot. Okay? So, ang ano ko lang dito is wag tayo malito with regards to the hydraulic horsepower at the bit. And also, if we are being asked, what is the hydraulic horsepower at the pump? Kasi yung sa pump is the bit pressure losses, yung total. Whereas dito sa bit pressure, that would only be at the bit. Diba? So, huwag tayong malito doon sa mga yon. But what I mean is the formula would still be the same. Ito yung exercise natin kahapon na HSI, hydraulic horsepower per square inch, in HSI, which is hydraulic horsepower divided by the bit face area. But the bit face area is the pi over 4 times the diameter of the bit. Yung example natin kahapon is 12.25 squared. So our HSI is equivalent to the whatever the hydraulic horsepower with hydraulic horsepower divided by pi over 4 times d squared h, diameter of the hole. Okay? So, please review also yung mga parasitic pressure losses, meaning yun ang inaalis natin ng pressure loss because those are the pressure losses that occur at the tool joints, at the drill pipes, at the drill collars. So whatever the pump pressure is, we take that out, and that is the pressure loss at the bit. So the remaining pump pressure is equal to the delta P plus D prime. Okay. So in this example, ang delta P natin is equal to 3,000 yung pump pressure at sa pump, minus the parasitic pressure loss of 1,500, which is 1,500 psi. And then we can calculate, of course, if we know the HSI, given an HSI value, sabi, to achieve a bit HSI of 1.2. So yun ang ilalagay nating value, and then we can substitute the values accordingly with the formula for the hydraulic horsepower, which is delta P at the bit times Q1 divided by 1714. But the given are the parasitic pressure loss. We need to compute for the actual pressure. So in terms of may ratio, di ba yung mga formula natin with regards to pressure is this. And then we can get it, this one. Ito yung 500 PSI. At a 500 GPM, I mean. And then once we get that, we can get, if we know the bit face area, we can get this one. And then Ang hinahanap dito baliktad. Sabi, how much is the flow rate that we can use? Tama ba? Calculate the flow rate to achieve a bit HSI. And then from his computation, we can pump 343 GPM. Now, question. Sabi natin, recommendation kahapon, the bit HSI should be 2 to 5. Greater than between 2 and 5. What if I want to have a HSI of 2 or 5? How much will be the flow rate? So, ganun din. No? Pampalitan lang natin yung 1.2 to have a Q. Malamang tataas ito because this is a direct relationship with the HSI. If you look at the formula, the HSI is it needs to be Q. In this example, it becomes Q cube. Kaya tataas itong husto yung ating Q because the HSI value is becoming bigger. Parang ganito na siya, no? Parang dito siya, dito naman ang binago natin is the mud weight. Ang binago natin is mud weight. And then we use these equations here. Delta P, P1 is equal to rho 1, Q1 squared over delta P, B2 over rho 2, Q1 squared. And then, dito ang nakuha niya horsepower is 507 horsepower. Okay, I think that should be enough for our mga hydraulics calculation. Meron na tayong capacity. Cementing, there's a bit of cementing that was taken up. Ano pa? Ito yung mga nozzle velocity, the same thing. Iibahin lang natin yung mga density or yung tinatawag na discharge coefficient. The discharge coefficient can be expressed in terms of pressure and then discharge coefficient C times density times Q. Diba? Ito yung expression na to. Let me show you yung previous equation dyan sa mga ito yung mga critical flow rate. Let's say may given tayo mga critical flow rate and then the VC we're also given with the VC saka yung DI. And the critical velocity can be computed in this manner. Diba? Importante kasi what is critical velocity? That is the critical velocity and in which the laminar flow changes to a turbulent flow. So, assuming a Bingham model, we need to have the plastic viscosity, tapos yung density, tsaka yung diameter, tsaka yung yield point. And then we can compute for the critical velocity. So, iba yung graph niyan is yun yung parang nagkakaroon ng biglang abrupt change doon sa velocity. Because it is becoming turbulent, biglang angat siya doon sa graph na I think napakita ko sa inyo yan. And accordingly, we can get the critical flow rate also in terms of the critical velocity and the diameter or the inside diameter of the pipe. So, let's say you are given fan readings. Can you get the plastic viscosity? Kung fan readings, ito na ang gagamitin yung equation, the 5.6 in terms of the viscosity. Pero if you are given the plastic viscosity tsaka yung mga yield point, you will have to use this one. Kasi 5 pa no. let's say you have a fan reading at 600 tsaka 300. Makukuha mo pa rin yung PV at saka Wi-Fi because the PV is equal to the fan reading at 600 minus fan reading at 300. Yung Wi-Fi is twice the reading of the 300 minus plastic viscosity. So, lahat naman na yan, I think I can give you all the formula. It's just a matter of knowing the concept at saka paano ginagamit. So, in this example, we are asked to calculate the critical flow rate at which the laminar flow changes to turbulence. So, on drill pipe 3 and 3/4, density 10, ang reading at 600, 37, reading at 300 is 25. So, first we can calculate the yield at saka yung plastic viscosity. Yung yield, yun yung expression before magkaroon ng angat dun sa Bingham. Meron na siyang value sa shear rate. Yeah. So, ilalagay lang natin yung mga reading at 300, reading at 600. Ayan, yung sinasabi ko, 2 times reading ng 300, which is 2 times 25, minus the reading at 600, we can get the yield. And then to get the mu, that will be the 37 minus 25 centipoise pala. And then if we want to get the critical velocity, we just input the plastic viscosity reading and then put in the density, piton density, put in the diameter ng drill pipe. Ayan. And then the yield, yung initial reading natin for the Bingham. And then the PPG, which is 10 PPG. And then the diameter I, which is 3 and 3/4. So if we compute for the critical velocity, we should be getting 4.69 feet per second. So if you want to take the critical flow rate, we can multiply the velocity times the flow area of 2.448. The flow area pala. So, ang critical flow rate natin, yung 2.448 is the constant. Yun. And then the 4.69 is yung nakuha natin na BC. And then the DI is in terms of GPM. Tama ba? What is our GPM? No, sorry. The B 2.48 constant, and then the critical velocity is 4.69, and then the diameter inside diameter of the pipe, which is 3.7. Dapat 3.75 lang yung kasi hindi 3 ports lang eh. Hindi 3.375 kasi kung 3.375, that is a 3.8. 3 and 3/8. So that should be 3.75 squared. Nakuha nyo? Kasi ang given is 3 and 3/4 eh. And the DI there is the diameter, the inside diameter of the pipe. So that should be 3.75 squared. not 3.375 kasi 3.375 is 3 and 3/8. Tama? Tama ba?
Opo, sir.
Yes, no? Tama, no? Hindi siya 3.375. Ang 3/8 is 3.375. Pero ang given is 3 and 3/4, not 3/8. So that is 3.75 squared. Okay? So again, doon sa mga pump, we can get the pump to be the pump pressure is equal to the delta P or a bit pressure drop plus frictional pressure losses or P sub D, P in PSI. Yun yung pump pressure natin. So usually given itong pump pressure, what is the pump pressure? Halimbawa, given yung maximum delivery pressure at 4.5, yan yung alam natin. And then sometimes we need to get the bit pressure drop or pwedeng alam natin yung bit pressure drop, we can get the frictional pressure losses. Yun naman ang hinahanap. So whatever that is, we can calculate it in same divided by 1714. I think paulit-ulit na lang to, no? So I'll skip this na lang. Pump pressure, parasitic loss. Ito yung kanina. So it's the same thing. Okay. I think ready na kayo mag midterms, no? Ready na o hindi pa? So practice lang naman, ano? I think you need practice. Practice calculating with the equation. Halimbawa, hinahanap pressure drop at the beat. Pwede naman yung delivery, yung pressure. Pwede rin yung flow rate. Pwede din yung area. Pwede rin yung number of nozzles. O, kahit saan kayo tanungin, dapat kayang-kaya na, ano, di ba? What else? Okay, so ang kulang ko na lang is yung cementing calculation. Okay. Let me show you yung sa cementing para medyo kompleto na tayo. So kayo ngayon is medyo kompleto. Nga pala, wala naman tayong makeup na because hindi ko na napapirmahan maski yung makeup ng O2. Tingnan ko lang itong survey calculations, no? Kasi kanina nagkaroon tayo ng konting ano with the MD at saka yung sa surveying, ano. I just want to check kung na-discuss ko yun sa inyo. Closure, surveying, ayan, yung sinasabi kong minimum curvature, no? I think they took 5,000 divided by 2 times cosine of angle 0 plus cosine 30 times ratio factor. Ratio factor, hindi naman nabigay yung dogleg. So we cannot get the minimum curvature. Pero binigay niya na yung TBD using the minimum curvature daw. But there was no mention of ratio factor. So nabanggit ko sa inyo before that it is always good to just use this radius of curvature method, which is you only have to get the radius, and then pag nakuha mo yung radius, makukuha mo na yung PVD or yung displacement niya. Not the average angle method because hindi na to masyadong ginagamit. Okay, so I think let's go to cementing para cementing. Just to spice up a bit our mga ano para halos kompleto kayo. Okay, let me try to say drilling fluids, no? Drilling fluid engineering. Let's try another example. Kung meron silang maganda about drilling fluids. Marami kasing mga topic dito sa drilling fluids which are also interesting. This is still about parasitic pressure losses. Yung mga may log M, etc. No? Ito, yung log M, K value. Okay. Banggitin ko lang to that diba ay we calculated for the capacity tsaka yung mga displacement, but that is only good for isang cycle lang or isang tawag doon is isang bottoms up, meaning pag nagpump tayo going into the drill string tapos labas sa annulus, labas sa shaker, that is one bottoms up. Pero in this table, it's worth mentioning na ito yung mga recommended for each hole section. Sabi dito, the 17.5 inch section, the flow rate should be 4,000 to 5,000 liters per minute. So how much is that in gallons per minute? So we have to divide this by what? 3.785. 1 liter is equivalent to 3.785 gallons, di ba? So how much is that in gallons per minute? Meron pa ba kayong calculator? Sumusunod ba kayo? Parang sa face-to-face lang. Sabi ko, sa 17.5 inch section, our recommended flow rate is 4,000 to 5,000 liters per minute. Inigay ko yung conversion, 1 liter is equal to 3.785 gallons. How much should we pump in 3.785 gallons? How much should we pump in flow rate in gallons per minute?
Bali mo multiply po yung 3.785 sa 5,000 po for 17.5 section.
Divide.
1,321 po, sir.
No, tama. Tapos ano ang upper range? 5,000. Ilan yung 5,000 liters per minute?
Sir, yun po yung upper range, yung 1,321.
What
Kapag
would be the lower sa 4,000 liters per minute?
1,056.80 po.
Yes, yan. How about sa 12 and 1/4? It says here that we should pump at least 2,500 liters per minute. Ilan?
660
660 po.
2 up to what in GPM?
to 924 po.
So, tama yung recommendation kahapon, di ba? We should pump at least 30 to 50 gallons per minute per inch. So sabi natin, if we are having a 50 and a 12 and 1/4 hole, we should multiply it by 50 times 12.25, correct? That's why we arrive at 612 gallons, 612.5, you remember?
Opo.
So tama ito, di ba? The 2,500 is correct if we take it to gallons per minute. How about sa 8.5 inch section? What is the minimum and the maximum flow rate in GPM?
Sa minimum po, ano po, 396.30 po. Kapag upper naman po or yung higher is 660 po.
Does that match with the 30 to 50 recommendation? What is the 50 times 8.5? Diba the recommendation dun sa PowerPoint was 30 to 50 per inch. Our hole size is 8.5. So if we multiply that by 50, how much would that be?
425.
Does this match with the 1,500 to 2,500 range in LPM? Pasok ba siya? Pasok ba yung kinocompute natin na 30 to 50 recommendation? With this recommendation, if we convert this 1,500 liters per minute to GPM, pasok ba? Ulit, ano ang range ng 8.5 inch section? From what range in GPM? 1,500 divided by 3.785. How much? Yung sabi no kanina.
Around 396 po.
96 po.
Yung 50 na recommendation gallons per minute times 8.5. Pasok ba dito sa range na to? Pasok ano?
Yes po.
Opo, sir.
Oh, so tama yung recommendation na yon, ano? The minimum that we should pump is 30 to 50. Question. Assuming hindi kayo binigyan ng flow rate, what would you use as a minimum or maximum flow rate? Halimbawa, hindi ko kayo binigyan dun sa given. Sabi ko, hindi, isipin nyo. Anong gagamitin ninyo? Lalagyan nyo ng assumption. Based on the recommendation of 30 to 50 GPM per inch, we can use the following. 50 times 8.5 o kung ano man yung ano nyo, pwedeng kung i-accept. Pero kailangan ilagay nyo yung assumption ninyo. Hindi pwedeng basta susulat nyo ng 400. Nakuha nyo ba? Lahat ng when you are doing computation, you have to show to me ano ang basis mo doon. For example, based on the recommended HSI, I want a 2 to 5 HSI. Kung walang HSI. Now, since I got the hydraulic horsepower with this HSI, I can get the hydraulic horsepower. So, yun yung assumption nyo. I'm assuming an HSI of 5. Pero ilalagay nyo yun sa solution. Ibig ko sabihin, hindi nyo pwedeng ilalagay doon na HSI. Tapos sasabihin nyo, sir, wala naman kayong binigay na HSI. Kaya nga merong mga recommendation, hindi ba? You have to put in, pwede kong tanggapin yung mga recommendation na yun or assumption. Ilalagay nyo nga lang sa computation. Hindi pwede na ilagay lang. Nakuha nyo yung kung gusto ko sa mga solution. For every step, you must have valid o basis. Ang basis natin is yung mga recommendation na nilagay ko. Kaya ako tinatanong ngayon if tama ito. Because let's say binuksan ko ito. Is this correct? Liters per minute. So kinonvert ko. Tama yung tama yung recommendation na yun. Tama yung nila. Di ba? You have to validate also yung mga numbers ninyo. Bawa, napunta kayo sa HSI. Let's say, ang nakuha nyong HSI is mga 1.2. Ang question, optimize the hydraulics with whatever value you got from HSI. Hindi siya pumapasok sa 2 to 5. Re-recalculate nyo ngayon. Di ba? Therefore, sasabihin mo, assuming that I will have an HSI of 2, pabalik ka ngayon, I must pump ganitong flow rate at saka ganito dapat ang pressure drop ko. Nakuha nyo yung essence ng exercise natin. Kasi kung lumalabas siya na hindi siya pasok, i-adjust natin, di ba? We have to adjust kasi irara natin sa butas yung we are assuming that whatever nozzles we have in the bit, whatever bit pressure loss we have, assuming na yung pressure is steady na dahil yun ang nailagay nila sa bomba. Alam na natin yung rod length, yung piston length, ganon. So alam na natin yung delivery pressure with the pump o with the volumetric efficiency. Ang pwede nating baguhin na ngayon yung mga pressure drop, yung mga flow area ng nozzle. So assuming, ang tanong, halimbawa, if you get a low HSI, optimize your HSI to achieve maximum results. Ang nakuha nyo, 1.2. Papaguhin mo yung solution mo ulit. I-set mo ng 2, pasok siya sa 2 to 5, and then i-recalculate mo. And with this HSI, I must flow ganito, ganito, ganito. I must use ganitong nozzle. Ganito. Kasi yung nozzle na binigay, masyadong maliit o masyadong malaki. Nakuha niyo yung point ko. That's how you that's how you do it. Bale, pag nagko-compute sa solution natin doon sa exam, we are not merely computing, but we are also validating our results, whether tama yun o mali. So, mas pinapalagahan ko kung nilagalagay nyo doon, this is incorrect. We should use this ganito, ganyan, ganyan. Ayun, pag nakita ko yung mga ganong solution na naintindihan, ibig sabihin yung mga konsepto natin. Kasi these formulas are irrelevant if we do not know how to use them in the proper application. We are just like yung parrot na nagsasabi ng nandyan ng same word or similar without thinking. Iniisip naman natin yung ating mga ginagawa. So whatever we are computing, we should try to see if they are good or not. Kung hindi good, then we have to adjust. Sabihin natin, oops, ito ang gagamitin ko. That's the kind of solution that I want to see. Hindi yung plug in the values. Very less lang yun. Kung bigyan ko siya, siguro mga less. But the application that I want to see is yung mga ganong type. Okay, nakuha niyo ba?
Opo, sir. Sir, may tanong po ako.
Yes.
Ano po, 'di ba sabi niyo po is yung pwedeng pag hindi given halimbawa yung GPM, pwede po kami mag-assume ng basta may computation po kaming pagbabasihan. Based po dun sa na-compute ko po, 'di ba po, 8 and 1/2 po ang ating given. Pwede po bang gamitin yung area na para doon sa GPM? Kasi po, ang range po ng yung given po doon is 30 to 50. Pag kinompute po natin yung area gamit po yung 8 and 1/2, makakakuha po tayo ng 56. For example, pwede po siyang gamitin na basis po.
Depende sa tanong. Kung ang tanong is, with the given data, optimize your hydraulics based on your result. Ibig ko sabihin, kukumputin mo muna yung given data sa una. And then once you compute the results, yung halimbawa, nag-compute ka na ng impact force, yung mga indicator for optimum hydraulics, yung hydraulic horsepower, HSI. And then you found out na yung results ng HSI does not conform to the recommended value. So ang gagawin mo ngayon, you work backwards mo pabalik to get the correct flow rate. And kung when you arrive at the certain point na you need to get the pressure drop, kunwari, and then you don't have that flow rate, then that is the time you will have to assume that based on the recommended, ito ang ginamit kong flow rate. Okay yun. Diba? Pero pag may given muna, you have to use the given, whatever that given is. Ang ibig ko sabihin, doon na sa mga optimization, if you need to adjust the parameter, either flow rate or the bit pressure drop, then that's the time you need to adjust. Na malinaw yun? Okay.
Okay po. So, yung parang pwede po kaming gumamit ng other solution to be the identifier or yung indication po for the optimization.
Kung optimization ang hinihingi, pero nabanggit ko kasi, that's what I'm after sa mga calculations. We have to optimize the parameters na yun. Yes. In answer to that question, yes.
Thank you po.
Okay. So, I think medyo thank you sa mga questions because medyo nalilinaw yung mga ating discussion. Ano? May nagtatanong and all that. So, yes, Dens.
Sir, dun po sa sa sagot kanina sa 425 po, yung 50 times 8.5, saan po ipapasok yun? Nalilito lang po.
Yung sa PowerPoint kasi natin sa fluid mechanics and hydraulics, tatlo yung recommended nila doon. Yung for a sufficient hole cleaning, it says there that the recommended is 30 GPM to 50 GPM per inch of hole. Ibig sabihin, kasi, let's say for example, bobomba ka ng GPM and your diameter is big. Hindi enough yung 50 GPM. So, ang multiplier mo doon is the diameter of the hole. Kaya if your diameter is 17.5 or 17.5, assuming we follow this recommendation, then that will be 50 times 17.5. But if you will be drilling an 8.5-inch hole, then if we follow this recommendation, 50 times 8.5, that is good for hole cleaning. Another recommendation doon is the HSI must be 2 to 5 or higher. Pwede naman higher kasi pwede kung may motor eh. So, ang gagamitin nating HSI is 2 to 5. Halimbawa, may given na HSI is equal to 1.2. Then lumabas na yung flow rate is not sufficient enough to hole clean based on this recommendation. ang sabi ko, we have to work backwards again to find the optimum flow rate. Another, yung HSI is equal to the hydraulic horsepower divided by the bit phase area. Let's say, na-workout nyo na yung HSI to be, let's say, 1.2. And then, based on the recommendation, hindi siya pumapasok sa recommended value ng HSI. Then what you can do is you have to work backward again and change or recommend the flow rate. Kung yun ang tinatanong. Halimbawa, ang tanong is, what would be the optimum flow rate in order to have a good hydraulics and good hole cleaning? So pagsasamahin niyo yung mga recommendation na yun to gain the optimum result. Nakuha mo na yun? Nakuha niyo na
Yes
ba yun?
po, sir. Thank you.
So, ibig sabihin, when we compute for the mga computations na gano'n, we should check also kung nag-fit in siya dun sa ano. Halimbawa, ang question, binigyan kayo ng hole size, tapos may annular velocity. Yung annular velocity is the velocity that is needed to lift the cuttings. Now, assuming, ang question is, if I want the cuttings to be lifted out from the bottom of the hole, I want an annular velocity ng ganito. And then, later on, nung compute nyo yung mga yon, binigyan kayo ng formula how to compute for the annular velocity. Yung annular velocity pala, hindi pasok. So, what will you do? Titigil ka na lang. Ang gagawin mo, i-recompute mo ngayon para umabot yung annular velocity mo with that given size of hole. Ganon ang mga dapat na mga computations kasi ino-optimize natin bawat parameter. We will soon be applying the flow rate and then at a given pressure drop at saka yung pressure loss. So, kung ano yung maging result natin, hindi pwede tayong huminto. We have to double check again yung ating computation so that we can arrive at the optimum flow rate. Kung flow rate ang hinihingi. And if we need to change yung size ng nozzles, then we have to change the nozzle. Nakuha nyo ba yun?
Opo, sir.
Yes, yes, no? Okay, so nakuha naman. Okay. So ano pa? Buti nga sa inyo marami nagtatanong kaya medyo maganda yung ano. Now, ito nabanggit ko yung annular velocity. This has something to do kasi with the cuttings transport. Pag yung ating mabilis tayo nagde-drilling, nag-iiba din yung annular velocity. And depende din yon kung ano ang ginagamit nating mud, ano ang ginagamit nating flow. So, for each type, meron tayong mga nire-recommenda na annular velocity din. Depending on the inclination ng hole, depende sa klase ng butas, kung horizontal o slant o vertical, iba-iba ngayon yung magiging annular velocity natin. So, that will entirely depend on what profile we have. And so, meron tayong mga sinasuggest din na annular velocity for each particular size. And pwede kayong bigyan ng table or pwede kayong bigyan ng condition na For each hole size, ganito, what would be the annular velocity needed para ma-hold clean o so that could also be a question, no? Kasi that has something to do with cuttings transport na eh. Kailangan ma-lift natin yung cuttings, di ba? That is the function ng drilling fluid. Tama, di ba?
Opo.
Oo. Di ba, inisize ako kahapon, what are the functions ng drilling fluid? Nasagot nyo naman during the face-to-face. Lubricate, transport, ano ba, wellbore stability, ano pa. Marami kayong binigay, di ba? So, those are important considerations. And now, yung mga binabanggit nyo na yon, we have to put them into practice. Gagawin lang natin yon in computation. Pwede natin ilagay yung mga yon sa computation. What would be the effective pressure or the hydrostatic pressure needed if the formation pressure is ganito? Ang binigay lang pressure gradient, kagaya nung kanina, 0.03. So, kukunin natin yung pressure for each tuwing mag-i-increment ng depth, di ba? So, we have to multiply that pressure the depth to get the pressure gradient. So, those are example pa lang, ano? Yun ang in-example ko pa lang. Okay, I think, ano pa? Any other concern or question?
Sir, confirm ko lang po. Sorry kung makulit po.
Yeah.
Yung ano po kasi, dun sa iba niyo pong PowerPoint, meron pong mga computation na, alimbawa, yung initial circulating pressure, kill mud weight, ganun. Hindi na po yun isasama. Yung mga itinuro nyo lang po nitong nakahapon and yung mga nakaraang araw.
Yung mga nakara. I think maganda din na pag-aralan niyo yun because yung tungkol dun sa well control, those are very important, the consideration tungkol sa kill. Yung sinasabi mo kasi yung kill sheet yun eh. Maganda din pag-aralan yun, although hindi ko siya masyadong in-emphasize because normally naman kasi yung mga well control is for the driller at saka yung mga tool pusher. When you come, when you graduate, hindi naman kayo ang magdi-deal with regards to the well control pa eh. So ito lang yung mga medyo kailangan ninyo. That's why dito ako naglalagay ng emphasis. But try to study also yun. That is a good foundation pa rin. Pero like I said, hindi nyo siya kailangan pa at this time. So maybe in the future, if you become a drilling engineer or company man, then that's the time that you really need to polish your well control. Pero sa ngayon, ito ang mas importante sa inyo. Pero yes, pag-aralan din.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
O sige, I think up to 9 lang tayo, di ba? So, napasarap ng mga discussion and thank you for the questions. Maraming nagtatanong. So, maraming nagtatanong, mas maraming ibig sabihin, mas maraming sumusunod, tsaka mas maraming
Sure.
Yes, Dexter.
Maglalabas naman po kayo ng magiging coverage po. Ano po?
Ang coverage natin will be check nyo lang sa syllabus kung ano yung naabot ng ating syllabus, which is na-cover naman natin because of our makeup. So, yun yung coverage.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. Okay, sige. If there are no more questions, I'll see you next meeting na, which will be our exam na. wait for announcement pa rin. Okay, thank you.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po. Happy Teacher's Day po.
Thank you po, sir. Happy Teacher's
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Sir, happy birthday.
Thank you po.
Happy Teacher's Day, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you po, sir.